big mud readers, we got dirty fingers. We love that ocean floor. We use winches and ropes and do boron isotopes. About 10,000 samples to core. We use all kind of drills, give us all kind of thrills. Get cores for a giant red. We have one of them in Bremen. It's huge. Eventually somebody does something with it. But we never feel the glory just to see our story on the cover of the Science Mag. Science, now you gotta go. Science Mag, you gotta go really crazy. And later in the song, Nick is gonna help me show some, so you know what you gotta sing, because we will end up going down the impact factor. So Science Mag, wanna see my paper on the cover. Mag, gonna buy 5 copies for my mother. Wanna see my latest book on the cover of the Science Mag. I got a freaky young lady with her eyes so shady, who would scan every quote just for me. I got the genius lab technician running my ICP. No mud is too obnoxious if it gives us some proxies, but those proxies turn out in the end. If you do hold it caper, but you can't get your paper on the cover of the Science Mag. Science Mag, see my paper on the cover. Wanna buy 5 copies for my mother. Science, wanna play my latest book on the cover of the Science Mag. This is now the brain part. We do 3 reviews and got plenty to use for all the data you could possibly store. And whatever we gain goes to public domain, every data point from every core. We've been on tens of cruises, little sleep but bruises, been on joyous every second leg. And we include some smart-ass buddies, so we get our studies on the cover of the Science Mag. Science Mag, see my paper on the cover. Wanna buy 5 copies for my mother. Wanna see my latest book on the cover of the Science Mag. That was the nasty one. We got loads of willing psychophone students who would do anything that we say. We got a genuine paleo guru to call them up and pave our way. We got all the machines that money can buy, spitting data without no lag. We got the power and the glory, but we can't get our story on the cover of the Science Mag. Science Mag, wanna see my paper on the cover. And wanna buy 5 copies for my mother. Science, wanna do my latest work on the cover of the Science Mag. We've got the super rare core nobody got before, worth a few middle-class cars. We done in-step studies with all of our buddies, and we even did error bars. We spent all those years using all of our gears and then submit, but what the heck? It turns out the editor just put your competitor on the cover of the Science Mag. So here, normally in Dr. Hook in the medicine show, they would put some crazy guitar solo in it, which fits quite well in this one. We leave that out, so we just go for the last verse. So you start complaining now. So I went to all those weird old places just to find some traces of thorium and stalactite. You didn't care if it's safe to enter that cave, working on it day and night. The conclusions were perfect, but if reviewers reject, you don't really want to complain. So if concerns were major, you just submit to nature and now Nick comes in. I think you have to come on stage for nobody. So now it goes down and come here where there's some light. I think we need some light.
The light.
We need some light for it. So it's gonna be nature, wanna see my picture on the cover, not mature. And I have 5 copies from my mother's NGS. See my latest book on the cover of Science Advance. Nature, come on, see my paper on the cover, maybe class. 5 copies from my mother's geology. See my latest work on the cover of the EPS. Scientific reports, wanna see my paper on the cover of the USA. Copies from my mother GRL. On the cover of Geoscience. We're not done. Climate of the past. Paper on the cover GPC. 5 copies from my mother, maybe BG3. Latest car somewhere in marine geology. And now we're fading out. It's all too late. Wanna see my paper? Put it in research again. And yes, I will somehow. And yes, I will give the lyrics to the organizer. Public domain. Today, you heard it all, it's by me, so. And sorry, Ellen, it's paleomarshography and paleoclimatology. Also, just doesn't rhyme with anything.